Hello, good evening. This is take 2. That's so frustrating. I'd already done a little bit and then my storage ran out. Anyway, so today is C of my A to Z of life as I see it at the moment and insights that I've had. So I just wanted to take a minute to sort of say, I'm just sharing these because it's something that I've seen that's been helpful. It's my journey, my story, my stuff. And I know through my learning about being human and my understanding of life now that I've had some insights and I've learned things that I didn't know before, and that through other people sharing their insights and their journey, that's been helpful for me. So that's what I'm doing here, is just seeing if what I share can be helpful to other people, okay? There's no right or wrong. It's just stuff for you to take, mull over and see how it lands for you. And hopefully you get some insights that will help you have a different experience of life. Hopefully a slightly more positive or neutral. Anyway, I digress. Today is C. I want to talk about creativity and how it's at the heart of how that can really help our mental health, or how I think it can help mental health. But before I do, I want to say I've just been listening to a podcast while I was running, with Fern Cotton on Happy Place, it's called, by Ashley Kane. Anyway, I'll put a link in the comments, and I really, really recommend you listen to it. It's just beautiful, just really, really beautiful. So do that. Do yourself a favor. So creativity. And before we start, I want you to right now write down on a piece of paper or keep it in your head 0 to 10 how creative you think you are. Okay, with 0 being none, 10 being very creative. So what I've seen about creativity is that it's at the heart of everything we do. We are creative beings. And yet I never used to think that. I thought that creativity meant you had to be able to draw beautifully, and I can't draw to save my life. I used to think that you had to be able to write beautifully. I used to think that you had to be able to, that it was an artistic thing. Creativity. Oh, I'm not creative. But what I want to ask you is, how often in a day do you create something from nothing? How often do you suddenly find that something you didn't know you were going to be able, you didn't know what to do, didn't have an answer for, and then you just suddenly have this answer? So examples that I can think of and that I always think about are, number 1, dinner. I hate the fact that every day we've got to talk about dinner and figure out what we're going to have for dinner. But somehow, at some stage in the evening, something happens and dinner's on the table. I think that's pretty creative. The same goes with kind of choosing birthday presents for someone. I'm not very good at choosing birthday gifts for people. I'm not even very good at remembering birthdays. But somehow, when it needs to be done, I choose a birthday gift or a Christmas gift. Meltdowns with my kids, or temper tantrums, or problems, anything that comes up with my children, trying to get them out the house in the morning. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Something will change. You ask, will you do this? No, they're not. Okay, so another idea comes. You just keep trying new things. And that, I've been seeing that as being insanely creative, because And what's really cool is that when you think about it, that's not necessarily stuff that's coming from us. So, it's what an insight is a fresh thought. So, like with dinner, you might be kind of thinking it, mulling it over, but at some stage, something fresh will come to you and that'll be the answer, And you might have been thinking about it for half an hour and not knowing what to do. That is at the essence. That's at the heart of all of us. There is that creative potential there all the time coming forwards. And how that helps with us, what I see with us helping with me with my mental health is I know a lot of tips and techniques. I spent a long time learning tips and techniques, but they didn't always work. And I'd be like, oh, there must be something wrong with me because meditation doesn't work, deep breathing doesn't work, doing all these journaling, gratitude, all that stuff. Sometimes it might work, but often it didn't. And I'd still feel just as rubbish. But what I see now is that when I get quiet and settled and I don't try and figure it out, at some stage something pops into my head that's helpful to do. So a fascinating example for me was a couple of months ago, and I was really, really stressed and busy and tearful. Oh my God, I was just crying about everything, trying to figure out something. And all of a sudden, I sort of noticed that's what I was doing. And I was like, do you know what I need to do right now? I need to go and buy some chocolate and go and sit down by the field and go and write. So this was when I'd started my writing journey. And that's what I did. And that chocolate, and you know, normally I'm beating myself up, don't eat chocolate, blah, blah, blah. But it came through to me, that's what I needed to do. And I went and I did that, bought some chocolate and sat by the field, spent 20 minutes writing, tapping on my phone. And I settled, and the answer came through to me to what to do, you know. I knew what to do then. And that's what I mean about creativity helping us, you know, is like, we are creative beings. There's always, always, always another idea that will pop into your head. And it doesn't matter if they don't work. You know, it's just trial and error. And that's another conversation. But who's to say they don't work? Who's to say that isn't what helps us the next idea to come? But that's what I wanted to say about creativity. And what I've been finding really fun is trying this whole creating something from nothing. So a couple of months ago, I don't know what happened, but somehow I started doing lunchbox notes for the kids. And like I say, I'm not creative at all, so they look terrible. But every now and then, I sort of challenged myself to do a different lunchbox note every time they have a packed lunch. And that meant kind of Googling YouTube videos and doing this. Anyway, long story short, every day I come up with some sort of idea, something fresh and different. And the kids are like, I don't know how much they enjoy them or not, but I love doing them. And I just think, I don't know, if you can, try and see if you can create something from nothing and just start playing with your creative brilliance. Okay, love you lots.